Hi, I'm Doug from Dynamic Computing, and welcome to episode 145 of 10-Minute Amiga Retrocast. This week, we're still going to be working on my Amiga 4000. I'm still right in the middle of the project where I'm going to be using it as a daily driver, and I've actually been using it probably for about 40-50% of my computer work at home the past couple of weeks, getting it to the point where I really think I can use it for most of what I do. But today I want to talk about a really cool program that I discovered. It's been out for a couple of years, but not too many people know about it. It's from the same gentleman, JPV, who does the RNOXfer and RNO PDF that I've covered before on previous videos. You'll see some links up there, and I should also have them in the description. These are all done in a language called Hollywood, which is a really nice programming tool that allows you to code a really nice program for Amiga 68K, Amiga PPCs like Amiga 4.x, MorphOS, and you can even port it to like Windows and things like that. And this code is just incredibly portable, and you just kind of have to recompile it for the proper operating system. Now, the caveat is you need a robust computer to run this Hollywood software, but that's okay because, you know, most of us, we've either got a Vampire in our machine, a lot of us do. If we don't have a Vampire, we could be rocking a nice 68060 BFG, something like that. We could be using one of the new Pi Storms that has a fast CPU, lots of RAM, retargetable graphics. So more and more of us in the Amiga community have at least one machine that's pretty powerful and can handle this software. You can also just run it in WinUAE. Works perfectly good there. I would say for the program that we're dealing with today, RNO Publisher is the name of it. 68040, 25 megahertz would kind of be the entry level for it. Retargetable graphics. The instructions say they're required, but honestly, mine runs fine in regular AGA. I tried it in just AGA modes, 128 color and 64 color. Works fine. But a fast CPU and retargetable graphics makes this program shine. Let's talk about what it does. What RNO Publisher tries to do is almost be a full-fledged desktop publishing program. It's pretty darn close to what you're able to accomplish in a program like Microsoft Publisher and Windows. It's certainly not a Quark Express. It's certainly not an Aldus PageMaker. Oh wait, all of those have been absorbed into something else now, haven't they? They don't exist anymore. And in many ways, it's not even as powerful as PageStream on the Amiga, but in other ways, it's more versatile. It's really kind of cool. Let's take a look at the software and what's required of it. So if you take a look at the link right here on AmiNet, you'll see what it needs is Amiga OS 3.0 with a fast CPU. And it does say right here it needs RTG, as you can see, but honestly, it doesn't. MUI 3.8, we definitely need that. And these particular MUI libraries, CodeSets library, GUI graphics library, render library, and text editor.mcc. All of these I will have the links to right in the description, along with links to downloading the program. Now these are pretty easy to install. You literally just, before you install the program and try and use it, just download these MUI classes and these libraries from AmiNet using the links right in my description. Install them on your machine, and then you decompress the software, RNO Publisher, and you can just run it from wherever you decompress it. There's no installer required after that. Just copy the folder wherever you want to, and away you go. Now, why did I need a program like RNO Publisher on my Amiga 4000? Well, in 2021 for the Amiga Art Contest, I did a certificate that I sent out to everyone who won any kind of prize. Just printed it out on my nice Epson ET8550 printer, nice 8x10 certificate signed by myself and Pixel Vixen back in 2021. And I just thought it was a neat little thing. It used a background image, as you can see, of Andy Warhol Tintin, which is really a cool little one. Now I wanted to do the same thing this year, but I started thinking about it and I thought, yeah, you could put that together on the PC in half an hour, 45 minutes. It's not difficult to do with the tools available. But I wanted to do it on the Amiga, as much as humanly possible on the Amiga. And it turns out I did like 98, 99% of it on the Amiga. Now I tried it using PageStream, okay? And because I love PageStream, I'm going to eventually do a full review on it. I tried it with PageStream 4, but I had an issue when I'd bring the graphics onto the 11 or 8.5 by 11 page in landscape, and then I'd try and put text over it, superimpose text over it. It's got to be doable. You have to be able to do it because it's a desktop publishing program. Why wouldn't you be able to? But I couldn't get it to work. I tried. I'm like, there's no way to set the transparency for nice colorful text over an image. And I thought, well, I guess I could do, the actual image and compositing the text right in Personal Paint or something like that, and then bring it into PageStream. And I thought, but then I've just done all the work in Personal Paint. I've done everything, and all I'm using PageStream for is to bring in a graphics image and then save it as a PDF. There's got to be a better way. So I'd already downloaded RNO Publisher a few weeks ago. I'd heard about it, downloaded it, tried it out. I thought, boy, it's kind of cool, but I didn't really get into it. I didn't learn anything about it. I thought, I'm going to give it another shot. And my goodness, it was the ideal tool for doing this. You can do full-fledged publishing where you can bring in text for another application. You can wrap it around graphics, put it over graphics. But what's really cool about it is by default, its entire purpose in life is to create modern PDF files. So you can take graphics, you can take text, you can take brushes, you can take this and that and put them all into pages right in RNO Publisher and export it as a PDF, bring it over to your PC, boom, there it is. So this is kind of mostly the final result of what I'm doing. I'm also going to be putting the names of the winners and the particular category that they won in on here. But this is the overall shell of what I'm doing, including this really nice image from Carlo Biodini, who was one of the winners of Amiga Art Contest 2022. His image is called No Signal, and it's one of my favorites from the entire competition. Absolutely love this image. Let's open up the program, take a little closer look. Now, in this case, we're going to be viewing it right on the screen. So I'm going to be shifting from retargetable graphics mode over to AGA mode. So I have a couple of monitors hooked up, just for reasons. This is another beautiful image from one of the Amiga Art Contest entries from a couple of years ago. This one's done by David Wright, called Amiga Coffee. Absolutely love this background image. It's actually running on my Picasso 2 card. I was running it on my CyberGraphics 3D card, but I started having a few issues with that card. It's starting to show its age, so I switched over to my Picasso 2 and it runs fine. Now, once you install the program, here I've got RNO Publisher. You have a nice little icon here. We'll just double click her. And after a moment, the interface pops up. And you can see it's a nice, clean little interface. It's running on Workbench. So just like any other Workbench program, you can move it around and manipulate it and put it anywhere you want to. You could also run this full screen. This uses MUI 3.8. So if you want to run this on its own independent screen, more power to you. You can put it on any screen you want to. What you would normally do here is create a new page. So here we can give it a title. We're going to call this, so we're calling it 10 Mark Episode 145. No problem. We can put author here if we want to. Now you choose to create a new document. And I'm going to choose here, I'm going to do a letter 8.5 by 11 because we're in America, and I'm going to do it in landscape mode. Okay, and so now I have my settings here. You can also set your margins right here. Now we click new, and you see this new page template comes up. You can create this with some basic templates that are already created. Full page 1 column, full page 2 column, A4 landscape with 1 or 2 columns. Most of these are if you're going to be dealing with a lot of text, which we're not. We're going to be dealing mainly with graphics. So we're going to choose empty and hit insert. And it creates the page. And it gives you a nice little layout of the page right here. And here the little, at the bottom, it tells you your coordinates right here. You can change some of these settings here. Units, points, centimeters, inches. You can have it auto save. Object grabbing, we'll talk about that in a minute. So now we have a blank piece of paper that we're working with. We want an image to be brought in. We know the image we want to fit on an 8.5 by 11 landscape page. So we're going to take an image that's actually smaller and modify it so it fits perfectly on the page without too much distortion and stretching. In this case, I'm going to use Art Department Professional. You could use Image Effects, or you could use almost any other graphics package. And I'm going to open up an image from our good friend, Eric Schwartz. Now, this is a 320 by 200 image. We're going to go ahead and take a look at that, NTSC. So I'm just going to, there we go. This is the image that we're going to use. This is actually 320 by 200 ECS image, very beautiful. But let's bring it back and let's see what we can do with it with Art Department Professional. We're going to take the image and we're going to scale it up. We're going to scale it to 1024 by 768. So 1024 by 768. That's going to make it so it fits on an 8.5 by 11 page. And the reason I'm doing this in Art Department Professional is because it does a really good job of scaling images. Now we're going to take a look at that. Now this is actually 1024 by 768 using my MK3 card from our friend Jens at Individual Computers, and you can see it upscales it absolutely beautifully. We still have nice gradations here. We're really not losing any quality, even though we've taken a 320 by 200 and upscaled it to 1024 by 768 in Art Department Professional. Let's go back to RNO Publisher and see what we need to do. First thing, we're going to save that as an IFF file. The standard 32 color image is fine for what we're doing. So we're going to save it, and I've already created a folder called Episode 145. Save that in Art Department. Now we could leave Art Department running. I've got plenty of RAM for it. I'm just going to go ahead and close it down. We're going to go back into RNO Publisher, which I iconified, and we're going to bring that picture in. And how do we do that? Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. We're going to click Add. We're going to click Image, because that's exactly what we're bringing in, and Insert. We're going to browse to where I saved the image. In my case, it was on my data drive, Docs, DTP, Episode 145. There's Amiga1k.iff. We're going to bring this in. Now, the cool thing is, this will also bring in JPEGs just fine. I think it brings in PNGs just fine. Probably anything that there's a data type for, it'll bring in just fine. We're going to close this window down, and you can see it gives us a nice representation. And when we do it at 1K by 768, it seems to fit on an 8.5 by 11 page just fine. Beautiful. Now let's look down right here. This, by default, is just called image object. That's a really boring name. We're going to name the object, so if we add multiple objects, it's easy to see what we're working with. We're going to call this Amiga 145, and we're going to click Set. Now, if we want to, and we don't want to be able to move this image, we can click lock position. In this case, we don't want to move it because it's the background of it. If we bring when we bring other images in, then we'll want to not lock those images. Under contents, it gives you some details and the path location of the image, which is actually kind of nice. PDF compression, this is critical right here. You can make smaller PDF files by changing the compression. 100% means it's not very compressed at all. 60% means it's trying to make it as small as possible, but you're going to get some dithering and some funky images. I have a specific reason we want to go lossless compression to keep it as true as possible to the original, so we're going to do that. We're going to talk about transparency here in a few minutes and spend some time with that. But for now, once we've told it lossless compression, we click Apply Changes, and now this is ready to go as our background image. So now we have our background image. We've got it set for lossless compression, so when we compress it, it won't dither it anymore. We want to bring some more stuff into here, like some cool text. Now, while this does support bringing text in by itself, you just, what you do is you click on Add here, and you can choose either a text box to import text you've already created, or text line, and it will bring in an individual piece of text that you can just type into a line. If you don't see it appear on the screen, you can click these little buttons here on the right, and it will cycle through. See, there it is right there. So we've got new text right here. We're going to bring it down a little bit. There we go. And from here, we can change this text and do a couple of things with it, like happy day. And you see it does not change the text on the screen until I click Apply Changes. That means you can do multiple things at a time and then make global changes. Here we can change our color. We'll just click the little color bar. Adjust pen pops up, and you can choose from any color you want to. We'll just go with a standard like a white. Click on Use. Now it's showing white. Apply Changes. Boom, it's white text. And we can have some fun with it. We're going to outline it, and we're going to increase the size. We want a nice 48-point font. And we want a little bit larger outline, so we're going to do an outline of 2. Now watch what happens here. Boom. It's going to change the text to an outline right here. Pretty cool, huh? Now, why didn't it turn white? Because I didn't change. I changed the color of the text, not the color of the outline. Silly Doug. So if I would have just not outlined the text, it would have created a 48-point font in white. But since I did it outline, see how it's bringing all the colors through there? I mean, we've got happy day, and you can see all the colors right behind it, which is kind of cool. But we're going to make the background white here. There we go. So you can do text like this, but you are limited to the proportional fonts. I believe you can add more fonts. I'll have to see how to do it. Add font. You can add true type. You can also name your text file just like we did before. And you can also lock the position, which means once it's locked, you can't move it from this location right here. But we want to do something even more fun. We want some cool color text on here. And Amiga is so good with its color fonts. Let's see what we can do. We'll iconify this, and we are going to launch Personal Paint, although you're absolutely fine running Deluxe Paint too. Now from Personal Paint, we want to put some cool fonts in here. So we're going to click our font tool, and then we're going to right click the font, and we're going to choose a nice font. And I want to choose one of the Cara fonts. You can get all kinds of different fonts available for your Amiga. But look at this, is a nice, I heard there are birds back there. This is a nice font right here. Now you'll see if you just go and type from here, the colors are all wrong. because it's using the original palette from Personal Paint. What you want to do is you want to go up into the color menu. You want to go to Palette, from Font. Boom! Now our fonts will look normal. So we're going to call this Amiga Forever. All right. Now, we've created our font. We've got this cool little logo right here. You can, if you want to, resize this by just highlighting it, grabbing it. Now it's a brush. And now we can go to the brush tools. We could resize it. We're going to cut it in half. All right, now we have a smaller version of it. All right, but we want to keep the large one. Now this next part is critical. You see how with Amiga fonts or with Amiga brushes, their background color is transparent, which means you can see right through everything right there. That seems like it would be absolutely perfect for what we're doing on our particular screen, okay, with our RNO Publisher. But it does not work. And let me try and explain why. Let's save this brush. So we're going to save this as af.bsf for Amiga Forever brush. Now we have a brush saved. Let's go back to our screen. So we go back to our RNO Publisher, which is iconified here. We're going to bring that brush in. Add, of course, it's an image. Insert. Here's AF-BSF, okay? Amiga Forever brush. Now you would look at this brush when it comes in and you would think, my goodness, that is absolutely perfect. You see, the transparency is working fine. We can drop it anywhere and that will work out perfect on our image. But you would be wrong. What happens is that RNO Publisher, for whatever reason, sees the background of this. See that little rectangular thing there? And it sees that as a color. So when you create a PDF file, it does not look normal. And I will show you exactly what I mean. We're going to go ahead and publish this as a PDF so we can see where we're at. We go up to the project menu, export as PDF. Now, what I'm doing specifically is I'm saving this directly to my PC through my Samba 3 connection that I talked about a couple videos ago. So we're going to go and we're going to do this. We'll put it in Amiga Art Contest 2022 prize winners, and we're going to save a PDF file. It's literally saving that onto my little PC right even as we speak as a PDF file. We're going to open it up and we're going to see what it looks like. So we're just going to open up Adobe Acrobat. I'm going to open up the file and there, 10 mark EP145. See, it just saved the PDF file right over that Samba connection. When we open it up, look what happens. Happy Day looks perfect. The background looks perfect. It's giving us a gray background here, completely different than what it looks like on the screen of the Amiga. Totally different, completely useless. That's not going to work. Let's look how we have to do it to get it to work properly. Back to the Amiga. Reopening Personal Paint, you see we still have our brush here. It's still transparent, so it's not going to work. When we copy and save that over, it gives us that the frame around it that's not normal. What you want to do inside of Personal Paint, you want to go to Settings, you want to go to Transparency, you want to change it to None. Now, this transparency when we grab a brush should be completely gone. We're going to grab the same brush, boom. Look how it's not transparent anymore. See how it's blocking everything out when I go over it? This is a brush with a black background, not a transparent color 0 background. We're going to save this and we're going to call it AF2 just to differentiate it. Boom. Proceed. Saves it. Now let's go back to our RNO Publish. we want to get rid of this one because we know it's not going to work. We can click it to highlight it so we know which one to delete. You can also click it right over here on the right and it will highlight the specific thing. So we're going to do that Amiga Forever and we are going to dump it by clicking remove. Now it's gone. Okay, we're going to add another one. We're going to insert. We're going to choose AF2 brush. It's going to bring in the second brush and you're going to see it looks absolutely stupid because it has a black background that is completely worthless. If we tried to generate this right now as a PDF, it's going to say Amiga Forever with a black background. So, are we hosed? Does this mean the video's over? We can't do anything now? Nay, nay. Take a look at this down here. Back to our settings down here, we can click Contents. This is still going to be lossless compression. Look at this, transparency. Auto, which is not going to make anything transparent. We're going to choose a range. Now, you could put a range of colors in here that are transparent. Let's say you have a specific shade of gray, middle gray, which would be 128, 128. You could type that in and it'll make those grays transparent. We're going to choose Pick from Image. We choose Pick from Image. We click the black part here. All of these RGB settings change to 0 down here. Now when we apply changes, in theory, look at that. It now makes this completely transparent. This is how we get around the problem of bringing over a brush with a transparent background. Just to test the theory, we're now going to create a quick PDF of this and try it again. So we've changed and we've exported that PDF file again. We're just going to open it up again and look at that. The background is perfectly transparent on the PDF file, just like it's supposed to be. Now, you can do this with any kind of graphic on the Amiga. If you've got a program or you want to use Deluxe Paint and you want to make the Amiga Forever to appear around a curve, no problem at all. If you want to mix a bunch of fonts together, no problem at all. Just make sure you turn off background transparency and then activate that transparency from within RNO Publisher, and it will work absolutely perfectly. Now, while we're looking at this, we're going to bring up the certificate that I created, and you're going to notice there's a couple of signatures right on here. We've got one for Kevin Saunders and one for Douglas Compton, Benevolent Overlord. How do we get those signatures into an Amiga? No problem at all. And how do we make them white? Well, let's talk about that, and we'll put a signature on the little sample file that we're dealing with. Basically, what I did, see that signature right there on this white piece of paper? I scanned that in on my Epson scanner, and I saved it as a JPEG image. I then took that JPEG image over into Art Department Professional. Let's show you. So I digitized the image, I saved it as a JPEG, and brought it over into Art Department Professional. Okay, just open it up and there's my signature right there. It's a 2-color image, no problem at all. That's how I saved it. But I want to make this white on black. So what's a guy to do? First thing I do in Art Department Professional is I'm going to visually crop the image. So that brings up my crop visual screen. And we're just going to highlight my actual boom signature right here. So we're grabbing just the part of it we need and nothing more. We do a crop visual, we do accept, and now Art Department Professional will come back and it's got that image in a smaller size. It's still in black and white, so black text on a white background. All I have to do is go to my operators command right here, choose negative, double click that. Now when I take a look at it again, it is a white on black image. Pretty cool, huh? Now I can save this and I can just bring it right over into Personal Paint. Now we have Personal Paint back up here. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this brush, and we're going to go to our data drive and desktop publishing. and we're going to open up that signature. Now, you see it comes up as a 2-color image, just like we want. It looks absolutely fine, but it's a black and white image, 2-color. Let's go ahead and just capture it, and we know what we need to do. We're going to go ahead and capture the brush, and it's probably, yep, it's still saving my transparency information. So if you look and you see that transparency is back on, and you can see right through it if you move it over the image here. I can't because I've already captured it. You want to make sure you want to turn transparency off for this particular reason. We're going to go ahead and save that brush, and I'm just going to overwrite that file. Go back into our RNO Publisher, and now we're going to bring that file in. We're going to add image, insert, and that is going to be the signature brush, and of course it is going to come in with a black background. Again, if you can't see it, we'll have to resize it. You can resize these things just by grabbing the little corner here and dragging it down, and it should resize it to wherever we want to go. There it is. A lot of this is like using multiple layers in something like Adobe or something like that. Now we want to get rid of this black, so we're going to go to Transparency, Range, Pick from Image, and we're going to click on the black part, Apply Changes, and in theory, I should have a nice signature here in a second. And there we have a nice transparent signature. Looks just great. Now you guys can forge checks with my signature, which is great because I don't have any money. So we've seen that this can create a cool title page, and we can save it as a PDF, bring it right over to the computer, the PC, any way you want to. Is that all it can do? Nope. Like I said, it's a fairly full-fledged desktop publishing program. Over on the right, we can click New, and we can tell it full page, 2-column. And we're going to insert a new page. So now it's got a whole new page with 2 columns in it. And you see it's got insert text here and insert text here, 2 different columns of text. So let's actually do a little bit of text. Let's import something. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take a plain old ASCII text file. We're going to tell it to import it. And it's called interview.txt, and watch what happens. It fills up this entire space here with an interview I did with What If Online Magazine. Now we're going to click, we'll keep the fonts the normal right now. We'll click Apply Changes, and in theory, it should fill up the left-hand column with the text from my interview. Yep, there it is. Look at that. Hey Douglas, thank you for taking the time for this short interview. To start off, can you tell us a little about yourself? Now, once we bring it in, now we can make some changes to it. Like if we want to change the font or change the alignment, let's change it to Courier Bold font, and we're going to change it to a little different color. We're going to make it an ugly blue, and we're going to center justify it. Apply changes. And there it goes. It's now center justified the text, and we're rocking and rolling here. So you can see with a little bit of creativity, you can use this as a full desktop publishing program, which you can then just save, export it right as a PDF, bring it right into your computer, print it on your nice inkjet printer, whatever you want to do with it. So what do I think about RNO Publish? Well, you have to have a powerful Amiga for it, but like I said, we're all expanding our Amigas anyways with all this new hardware. Let's go ahead and have some software that can take advantage of that new power. On a Vampire, this thing runs like a champ. This is an 060 50 megahertz. It runs good, perfectly usable. On a 68040, I would say, you know, it's probably going to be a little sluggish, but usable. On a Vampire, it's going to be fast. On a PiStorm, that's going to be brilliantly fast on like Amiga from Chris Edwards, man, nothing can stop the thing. The fact that we're able to take any kind of image, any kind of text, pull it all together on our Amigas, and then export it as a PDF. And once you bring it over as a PDF, you can do anything else you want with it too. You can print it out on your high-end printer, you can email it, you can do whatever you want to. It's pretty clever, and it actually saves a lot of effort from trying to get an Amiga to print something out. There's limitations to the Amiga's printing subsystem, which we'll discuss on my printer special, which is coming up some year. But this, you know, handles 24-bit images fine. You bring on 24-bit images, bring in 24-bit 3D fonts, bring them all together, put them all together, save them as a PDF, print them on your Mac, print them on your PC. Beautiful. Now, the program probably does need a little bit of tweaking. It works pretty good. I'd love it if you could just take a brush that is automatically with the transparent colors and looks so beautiful on RNO Publisher and have it just work without having to turn transparency off and then reapply the transparency in the program. That would be cool. And I'll email him, and he's usually pretty good about responding, and maybe it's a quick, simple little fix and it'll be working again. I would love to see maybe some cool features like the ability to wrap text around a shape or something like that, but I don't know if that's the kind of thing he's going to want to start to do. We should probably just stick to doing all that in Deluxe Paint or Personal Paint or whatever, and just use this for what it's good for. Would I recommend it? Yeah, it's free, but he takes donations via PayPal. I've sent him money in the past, I think a couple of times, and I'm going to send him some more for this because this is awesome. Send him, if you download his software and you like his software, send him $5, send him $10, send him $1,000 to keep him interested in making new things, especially for the 68K Amigas. Huge thanks to my wonderful patrons who you see scrolling across the image of the certificate for the Amiga Art Contest, a nice PDF image. Again, 100% done on the Amiga. The only thing that was done elsewhere was literally scanning in the images on my Epson scanner. Really appreciate your support. If you're interested in joining my Patreon, look me up at patreon.com/10mark. Thanks, guys. Check out all the rest of his software. The link to his website is in the description. He's got some cool stuff. He's got some software that pulls MP3 files. It looks at your MP3 files and pulls album information down for you from the internet. That's kind of cool. He's got music players. He's got PDF viewers that work great. He's got an FTP program that is second to none. All of them require a fast Amiga, but a lot of us have fast Amigas now, so more power to you. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Mastodon, Instagram, and AOL Instant Messenger. I'm on all of those. Not really. I'd really appreciate if you'll comment below and let me know what you think you might want to try and do with a publishing program on the Amiga that's relatively powerful. I'd love to have some conversations with you. But until next time, this is Doug from 10-Minute Amiga Retrocast, signing out.